Dear learner, I welcome you all to the MOOC on Principles of Electrical Sciences. I am Dr. Sanjay Agrawal, Associate Professor in Electrical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. In previous session, we have discussed transformer and its necessity in the power system, working principle of a transformer. We have also discussed construction of transformer. In this session, we will discuss what is the ideal transformer, and we will also drive the EMF equation of the transformer, and we will also discuss what would happen if DC supply is given in the primary of the transformer. So first of all, we are going to discuss what is the ideal transformer. The transformer which is free from all type of losses is known as ideal transformer. It is an imaginary transformer that has no core loss, no ohmic resistances and no leakage flux. The ideal transformer have some important characteristic which will be discussed now. Here you can see in the diagram that supply V is equal to Bm sin omega t is given at the primary side. Here you can see that V1 is equal to E1. Why? Because there is no resistance in the primary winding, so you are assuming that resistance of the primary winding is 0. So there will be no voltage drop in the primary side, so you can say this V1 is equal to E2. And in the secondary side, the induced EMF, that is E2, and here we are also assuming that in the secondary side also there is a no ohmic resistances or there is no losses in the secondary winding, so you can say the voltage V2 that you are getting is equal to the induced voltage E2. So ideal transformer have some important characteristic. First is no binding resistances. The resistance of their primary and secondary winding are 0. So there is no ohmic power losses and resistive voltage drop, because you are assuming that resistance is 0. That means I square R, because R is 0, so I square R is 0. And voltage drop is what? Voltage drop is current multiplied by resistance, and you are assuming there is no resistance in the binding, so that means I into R is also 0. So in case of ideal transformer, there is no ohmic power losses and resistive voltage drop is also 0. Second important characteristic of ideal transformer is it has zero magnetizing current. What do you mean by this? The core of ideal transformer has infinite permeability and zero reluctance. The infinite permeable means what? It means zero magnetizing current required for the magnetizing their core. The third important characteristic of ideal transformer is there is no leakage flux. The leakage flux of the transformer is 0. That is, the whole of the flux induced in the core of the transformer links with their primary and secondary winding. Next characteristic of ideal transformer is there is no iron losses. So what are the iron losses? Iron losses are the eddy current losses and hysteresis losses. So because there is no iron losses, there is no copper losses. So if there is no losses, that means output is equal to input. So you can say the efficiency of the transformer is 100%, because efficiency is equal to what? Output upon input, and this output is equal to input, that means it is coming 1 and multiplied by 100. So this efficiency is coming 100%. Now here you can see the circuit diagram of the ideal transformer, where applied voltage is a V1 and induced EMF is E1. In case of ideal transformer, there is no resistance in the primary winding as well as the secondary winding. So you can say induced EMF is equal to the supplied voltage. Similarly, you can say receiving voltage, that is V2, is equal to the induced EMF E2. You can say due to this magnetizing current, there is one flux is induced. That flux is what? That is, it can be written as phi is equal to phi m sin omega t. So as you know, the induced EMF is equal to what? It is a rate of change of flux. So this induced EMF per turn can be written as E1 is equal to minus n d phi over dt. And value of phi is equal to what? Phi m sin omega t. Just you differentiate this phi m sin omega t with respect to t. So you will get minus omega phi m cos omega t. This can also be written as induced EMF E1 is equal to omega phi m sin omega t minus pi by 2. Here you can notice, as per the Lenz law, induced EMF oppose the source voltage, or you can say supply voltage. So you can say this V1 is equal to minus E1. So on the basis of this equation, you can also draw the phasor diagram for the ideal transformer. So we are assuming that there is no resistance in the primary winding, so there is a coil, so you can assume that it is like a inductance. So this magnetizing current with lag by the supply voltage by the 90 degree. So this magnetizing current can be denoted as I suffix m. So here you can see that this Im is lagging with respect to B1 by 90 degree. Here you can also notice that phi is equal to phi m sin omega t, and this E1 is lagging with respect to this flux by the 90 degree. So here you can see that E1 is lagging with respect to phi m by 90 degree. Here you can also notice that B1 is just opposite to E1. So magnitude of voltage, supplied voltage, and magnitude of induced EMF is equal. So this B1 is equal to minus E1. So this is how you can draw the phasor diagram of ideal transformer. Now we have to derive the EMF equation of a transformer. So here you can see in the waveform, when sinusoidal voltage is applied to the primary winding of a transformer, a sinusoidal flux as shown in figure is set up in the iron core, which links with the primary and secondary winding. Let this phi m is the maximum value of the flux, and generally it is calculated in Weber. The unit of this flux is Weber, and you assume that supply frequency, this f is constant, and unit of this supply frequency is denoted in hertz, or you can say cycle per second. The number of turn on the primary side can be taken as a n1, number of turn in the secondary side can be taken as n2. As shown in the figure, you can notice that flux change from maximum plus phi m to minus phi m in half cycle, that is in 1 by 2 f second. So here you can see that amplitude of this positive cycle is a plus phi m, and amplitude of negative flux is a minus phi m. So here you can notice from changing flux from positive phi m to negative phi m, it takes 1 by 2 f second. So you can also calculate the average change of flux. Average change of flux can be written as, it is d phi over dt. This d phi is what? Change in flux from plus phi m to minus phi m. So it is equal to what? Phi m minus with minus phi m. So this minus will be added. So it is equal to 2 phi m, and dt is what? Change in time from plus phi m to minus phi m. It is 1 upon 2 f. So just put the value here. You will get the average change of flux is equal to 4 f phi m Weber per second. So average induced EMF per turn can be written as 4 f phi m. As you know, for the sinusoidal wave, you know the formula of the form factor. The form factor is equal to what? RMS value upon average value, or you can say RMS value upon average value is equal to form factor. It is equal to 1.11. So now you have a average value of the induced EMF. So you can also calculate the RMS value of induced EMF. So RMS value of induced EMF per turn can be written as E equal to 1.11 multiplied by 4 f phi m. So it is equal to 4.44 f phi m volt. RMS value of induced EMF in primary can be written as E1 is equal to induced EMF per turn multiplied by the number of primary turn, and number of primary turn is equal to what? That is N1, and induced EMF per turn is equal to what? It is 4.44 f phi m multiplied by N1. So induced EMF, that is E1, comes equal to 4.44 f N1 phi m. Similarly, you can find out the RMS value for the induced EMF in the secondary side. So induced EMF in the secondary side can be written as induced EMF per turn multiplied by the number of the secondary turn. So it comes E2 is equal to 4.44 f N2 phi m. So this EMF equation can also be written as E1 upon N1 is equal to what? It is 4.44 f phi m. Similarly, for the equation from the induced EMF at the secondary side, it can also be written as E2 upon N2 is equal to what? 4.44 F phi m volt. So here you can notice that in equation number 1 and equation number 2, right hand side are equal. That is 4.44 F phi m is in same in equation number 1 and in equation number 2. That means this equation number 1 and equation number 2 can be written as E2 upon N2 is equal to E1 upon N1. That means induced EMF per turn at the secondary side is equal to the induced EMF per turn at the primary side. So after rearranging, you can also write E2 upon E1 is equal to N2 upon N1. So this E2 upon N1 is equal to N2 upon N1 can be written as K, where this K is what? This K is a transformation ratio. If value is K is greater than 1, then you can say it is a step up transformer. If K is less than 1, then you can say it is a step down transformer. The same EMF equation can also be derived by the another method. Just you assume that let phi is equal to phi m sin omega t, where omega is equal to what? This omega is nothing but it is a angular frequency. So this omega can be written as 2 pi f, and phi m is the peak value of the flux. So instantaneous value of EMF per turn can be written as E1 is equal to minus N1 d phi over dt, and value of phi is equal to what? Phi m sin omega t. So just put the value of phi in this equation. So just you differentiate this flux with respect to time. So it comes minus N1 phi m omega cos omega t. This cos omega t can also be written as sin pi by 2 minus omega t. Then when this minus sign will go inside, so it will be equal to this E1 can be written as N1 phi m sin omega t minus phi by 2, where you can also write EM1 is equal to omega N1 phi m. What is EM1? EM1 is the maximum induced EMF at the primary side. And when you will get this condition for the maximum induced EMF, when this sin omega t minus pi by 2 is equal to 1. So after the replacing this omega N1 phi m with EM1, you can write the final expression for the induced EMF at the primary side, that is E1 is equal to EM1 sin omega t minus pi by 2. Similarly, you can also write the equation for the induced EMF at secondary side. E2 is equal to what? EM2, where EM2 is maximum induced EMF at the secondary side. So E2 can be written as EM2 sin omega t minus pi by 2. Now you can also calculate, or you can write the equation in terms of the RMS value. So the RMS value of induced EMF in the primary and secondary winding, E1 and E2 can be written as E1 is equal to what? EM1 upon under root 2. Similarly, you can also write E2 is equal to what? EM2 upon under root 2. So this EM1 is equal to what? EM1 is nothing but it is a omega N1 phi m. So E1 can be written as omega N1 phi m upon under root. Right? Now you can replace omega by the 2 pi f. So E1 can be written as 1 upon under root 2 pi f N1 phi m. Now you divide 2 by the under root 2. So it comes under root 2. So E1 is equal to what? E1 is equal to under root 2 pi f N1 phi m. Now you put the value of under root 2, which is equal to 1.414. Induced EMF at primary side E1 can be written as 4.44 f N1 phi m. Similarly, you can write the induced EMF at the secondary side, that is E2 is equal to what? 4.44 f N2 phi m. So on the basis of these two equations for E1 and E2, you can write E2 upon E1 is equal to N2 upon N1, which is equal to K, where K is a what? K is a transformation ratio. For an ideal transformer, it is assumed that entire magnetic flux linked with the primary winding is also linked to the secondary winding. The relation between the voltages, current and number of turns in the primary and secondary coil is given by V1 I1 is equal to V2 I2. As you know, for the ideal transformer, E1 is equal to V1 and E2 is equal to V2. So B1 I1 is equal to B2 I2. What is the meaning of this? That means you can say that primary VA or KVA equals the secondary VA or KVA. This can also be written as B1 upon N1 is equal to B2 upon N2. That means voltage per turn on primary is equal to the voltage per turn at the secondary side. That means B1 upon N1 is equal to B2 upon N2. The given two relation can be rearranged as B2 upon B1 is equal to I1 upon I2 is equal to N2 upon N1 is equal to K. Here V1, I1 and N1 represent the voltage, current and number of turn respectively at the primary coil, and V2, I2 and N2 represent the voltage, current and number of turn at the secondary side, and this K is a transformation ratio. Now we have to understand why rating of the transformer is generally given in BA or KVA or MVA. The rating of transformer is in volt ampere or KVA is given always. As you know, the rating of the machine indicates the power supplied by it. While designing the transformer, there is no idea about load and its nature, so its rating is expressed in the VA or KVA or MVA. As you know, copper losses is directly proportional to the square of the current flowing in the transformer in primary side or in the secondary side, and you can also write the core losses is directly proportional to the supply voltage. So you can notice here these losses does not depend on the load power factor, so the rating of the transformer is given in the volt ampere or KVA or MVA. Now we have to understand, can transformer work on DC or not? So as you know, the transformer cannot work on the DC because in DC supply flux produced in the core is not alternating, it is a constant. As there is no change in flux, so no EMF is induced which opposes the primary voltage. As the resistance of the primary winding is very low, the primary current will be very high as given by the Ohm's law. So you can write primary current is equal to what? Primary current is equal to DC applied voltage upon resistance of the primary winding. So if in case of AC, primary current is equal to what? I1 is equal to V1 minus E1 upon resistance of the primary winding. But in case of DC, there is no induced EMF E1, that means B1 minus E1 is equal to what? Only V1 because E1 is 0, and resistance of the primary side is very less, that means the numerator value is increased and denominator value is very less. So what will happen? That means this primary current will be very high. If this primary current will be very high, that means it can damage the transformer. That's why transformer is not operated on DC. If forcefully DC is given to the primary, core saturates and it will draw very high current. This current is much more than the rated full load current of the primary winding. So it will produce lot of heat, that is the I square R losses, and burns the insulation of the primary winding, and the transformer will be damaged. So you have to remember that DC is never applied to the transformer. Now we will take the one or two example on the basis of the EMF equation. So first example is a single phase transformer has 500 primary and 1000 secondary turns. The net cross sectional area of the core is 60 centimeter square. If the primary winding to be connected to the 50 Hz supply at 400 voltage, you have to calculate the peak flux of the flux density in the core. Second quantity that you have to calculate, that is a voltage induced in the secondary winding, and third one is the turn ratio. So here you can say, just you assume it is a ideal transformer, so you can say the primary induced EMF E1 is equal to V1, that is a 400 volt, and supply frequency is given at say 50 Hz, so supply frequency F is equal to 50 Hz, and number of turn in the primary winding are given, that is a 500. So area of core is also given, that is a 60 centimeter square. So this centimeter square can be converted into meter square. So you can write it is equal to 0.006 meter square. So as you know, the induced EMF at the primary side, that is E1, can be written as 4.44 F max F into N1. So this F phi max can be written as E1 upon 4.44 Fn1. So you have a value of E1, that is a 400. You have a value of frequency, that is a 50 Hertz. You have a number of turns at the primary side, that is a 500. Just you put all these value. After the solving, you will get the maximum flux phi max is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. Now you have to calculate the peak flux density. So this peak flux density can be written as B max is equal to what? Phi max upon area. So you have already calculated the value phi max, that is 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 3, and area is what? Area is 0.006 meter square. Just put the value here, and after the solving this expression, you will get the value of B max, that is 0.6 Tesla. And how you can calculate the turn ratio? Turn ratio can be calculated as N2 upon N1 is equal to E2 upon E1. So just you put the value, so N2 upon N1 comes as a 2:1, that is equal to 2. That means transformation ratio is also at 2. Now similarly you can calculate the induced voltage in the secondary winding. It can be written as E2 is equal to E1 multiplied by the turn ratio, and value of E1 is equal to 400, and turn ratio is what? That is a 2. So just multiply 400 into 2, it comes 800 volt. Second example that we are going to discuss here. Here the value are given that the design requirement of an 11,000/415 volt 50 Hertz single phase core type transformer or approximate EMF per turn is equal to 15 volt. Maximum flux density is 1.5 Tesla. You have to find suitable number of primary and secondary turns and net cross sectional area of the core. So here E1 is given as 11 kV, or you can say 11,000 volt. E2 is given as 415 volt. Frequency is given F equal to 50 Hertz, and Bm is given as 1.5 turn. So as you know, EMF per turn at primary side or secondary side are equal. So you can write EMF per turn is equal to E1 upon N1 is equal to E2 upon N2, that is 15. So number of primary turn you can calculate very simply. You can write N1 is equal to what? E1 upon 15, and value of E1 is already given, that is 11,000. E1 is given, that is 15. So N1 is equal to 1, E1 upon 15, that is 11,000 divided by 15. So it comes 733.33. Similarly, you can calculate the number of secondary turn. N2 is equal to what? E2 upon 15. It is equal to 415 upon 15. So it comes 27.67. So you can also write the equation of the induced EMF at primary side, that is E1 is equal to what? 4.44 N1 F AI multiplied by V suffix M. So this E1 upon N1 can be written as 4.44 F AI into Vm. Just put the value of all the parameters that are given. That means this E1 upon N1 is what? It is a turn ratio. So this value are already given, that is a 15, and F is equal to what? F is equal to 50 Hertz, and you have to calculate the AI, and Vm is also given, that is a 1.5. So this net area AI can be written as 15 upon 4.44 multiplied by 15 multiplied by 1.5. So after this putting all this value, you are able to calculate the value of this A suffix I, that comes 450.45 square centimeter. So in today's session we discussed ideal transformer and its EMF equation. Hope you were able to learn the concept of all the topics. In this session we have also discussed what would happen if DC supply is given in the primary of the transformer, and we have also discussed why the rating of transformer is given in BA or KVA or MVA. Dear learner, in the next session we will discuss the equivalent circuit of the transformer, and we will also discuss the phasor diagram of the transformer at no load and on load also. Thank you very much.